Well, that's what I think. And Leslie Marshall is with us. Let's see what she thinks. Right, Leslie, I know you heard that. I'm saying the Brits should leave the European Union on the grounds that you cannot reform liberal democracy, socialism in Europe. And I think we're going in the same direction in America, and I want out of that as well. I'm sure you're going to disagree with me. Go for your life.
Oh, you have a good crystal ball there. Yes, I do disagree. And there are a few reasons. One you touched upon, which is the destabilization and the problems that it could cause throughout the rest of the EU. But also, if you look at not just short-term gratification, if you will, or long-term, over half of the exports that Great Britain has go to the rest of Europe. Also, will this attract the international financial investors that Great Britain would hope for? And additionally, prior to them being a part of the EU, this is a socialist country that has extremely high taxation to pay for the education, the medical care, always was opening their arms to immigration. And as you know better than I, because you lived there and are from there, Stuart, you could go, into London, get yourself a nice flat. And also, let's not forget, you have to pay for the Queen and the royal family. So, the idea that Great Britain is going to not be a socialist country because they break away from the EU is preposterous, because they were a very socialist country prior.
It is not a socialist country. Since the crash of '08, the Brits have cut taxes and they have cut spending. And they intend to be more capitalist, like Margaret Thatcher made them a generation ago. But talk to me about principle. Have you got a problem with a country organising its own rules, its own laws for itself, instead of having foreigners make laws for them? Surely you have no objection to that, do you?
Well, I don't have an objection to sovereignty, but the problem is Britain will be a part of Europe, even if it's not a part of the EU.
It's not part of the European Union,
and that's not just geography.
Therefore, it does not have to take the rule of bureaucrats in Brussels, and I think that's a very big deal. How about this one? Control your borders. Surely we should be allowed to control our own society, just like America wants to control its own borders. What's wrong with that?
Well, a lot of the research that I've done for this today shows me that even prior to being part of the EU, these were not decisions necessarily that were coming down from the Parliament in Great Britain with regard to some of those very issues that you're touching upon, immigration as well. As you know, even
we joined the European Union in the early 1970s, and soon after that, the Europeans decided that you could have free movement within the European Union. That was the result of legislation in Europe, not the result of legislation in Britain. I'd like to get back to self-control. How about that? Last word to you.
But prior to them being part of the EU, there was a lot of immigration and growing concerns, if you look at the polls about the immigration.
Wait a minute. The immigration laws, which the British passed, were passed by the British House of Parliament, by the British lawmakers. It was Britain to control Britain. Now it is not. And I want to get back to the point where Brits control Britain, just like I want Americans to control America. I don't have a problem with that. I got 20 seconds for you, though.
Well, the polls show that people are leaning in your favor, but I agree, after this terrible tragedy, that could change things, so people don't think that, hey, we're going to give in to somebody who uses violence to get their point across with regard to the EU and immigration.
All right, Leslie, that was a good debate. Thank you very much for joining us. You'll come again after the Brexit vote, I'm sure. Thanks a lot, Lord. Thank you.
I will.